Hello, I'm ambiance Toycat, and today I have some wild news to share with you because Minecraft just announced they're going to add the deep dark cities alongside boats with chests in them, alongside the smallest mob the game has ever had, and all of that comes as one package because the theme of Minecraft 1.19 has been announced, and it is...
the wild update.
The wild update sounds very, very intriguing. So what does it
Indeed.
encompass?
So the word wild mainly means like two things for us. So the first thing is like beautiful nature. And the second thing is like really scary challenges and adventures.
So another way of thinking of this might be as the natural update, and the reason I say that is that most of these features are focusing on the overworld default generation. We also of course have the warden, which is why she referenced caves and adventure, because the entirety of the deep dark, including the warden, the deep dark city, and all of these sculpt blocks are going to be part of 1.19 now instead of 1.18.
So we've moved the deep dark into this update.
That's after being delayed from 1.17, so you know what, whatever, they're part of the wild update, but they're going to be the predominant underground feature, a brand new biome that's very exciting, alongside a lot of above ground biome.
We also want to focus or have focused on biome diversity.
Because look at this concept art for a brand new type of forest. This is broadly built around the birch forest, but as you can see, there's going to be some fallen logs, something which doesn't fully exist yet on Java, and there's also going to be some form of new growth around the trees, which I take to be mushrooms, but you know, you can take those to mean whatever you are. But basically, they're going to be updating the birch forest, but much more significantly than just the birch forest, they have plans to update another biome too, which is...
That's the swamp. Oh, our art team is just so amazing. It's such a beautiful concept art. And as you can see here, the atmosphere is really different from the birch forest as well.
So yeah, as you can tell, swamps do have a different atmosphere to birch forests, and a lot of that atmosphere, as you can see in this image, is about the fact that the trees are covering much more of the ground. I mean, they have the vines and stuff. You can see there's some form of little, you know, like lighting from these weird little yellow dots that will definitely come up later, and I'm definitely not just sneaking on the Firefly reveal, but as you can see, the swamp is something they want to be much more atmospheric and interesting than it is right now, which is why they've decided to add a new type of tree to it. That's right, this is the mangrove tree. So the mangrove tree is really interesting because as you can see, it grows from one of these little sprout looking things. You know, it grows from a sapling that can happen to grow underwater, and then you know what happens when the sapling grows? It grows and looks like this. So it's actually supported by these kind of root blocks that grow underneath it. Very interesting by themselves. And then there is a brand new type of wood that you can see, the mangrove wood that grows out of that. And then underneath the trees, unlike every other type of tree where the saplings just come from the leaves, these saplings actually grow on the tree itself. So this is incredibly interesting. Also, just as a fun fact,
This is the first sapling that you can plant underwater.
Yeah, you can plant it underwater and on land as well.
so yeah, this is our first tree type that can be placed underwater, but you don't have to place it underwater, even though that's mostly how you'll find it in the natural generation, and obviously it'll be kind of different that way, so that's really interesting. But when I hear about this being added, which is of course Minecraft's 9th tree type, they didn't add a new tree type for the azalea, but they're doing it in this update, then I hear about like, okay, how's the wood gonna look? And we do have the answer to that question too. Good news here, this is the mangrove wood type. As you can see, there is the main log on the left there are the fences, the fence gates, the half slabs, the you're getting everything you need in this one little build right here, and you might think to yourself like, well, that's really great, those blocks look wonderful, but is that going to be everything? And the answer is no, there are even more blocks they just haven't shown.
You also don't see like all the blocks here. It's gonna be like a full set for the wood types. It's gonna be like doors and trapdoors and so on.
So thank God they are going to work on the inconsistency issue that Minecraft has with which blocks get slabs, which ones get trapdoors, which ones get buttons. It's very strange and confusing when you look at it from afar, and so it's great that they just want to add a new wood type with all of the things that wood type should have, and that's pretty cool if you ask me, but you might notice that mangrove is familiar from somewhere. In fact, if you recall, a couple of years ago, we had a vote about which biome should be added to Minecraft, and in the final round, it came down very, very close to the swamp or the mountains, and 47% of people picked the swamp and 53% of people picked the mountains, and so the mountains are being added to Minecraft. I mean, at the end of this year, Man, it's crazy. That was 2 years ago. But anyway, you get the point. They're like, yeah, that's crazy. They added the mountains to Minecraft. But the second place of that vote was a swamp update, which would include brand new mangrove trees, as well as boats with chests and frogs. And it's interesting because we got the mangrove trees from that vote, so maybe you could calculate that also, yeah, that's right, boats with chests, they're officially here. They're being added to Minecraft, and it's wonderful to look at. As you can see, boat with a chest is in fact something you can now have. My immediate question was like, so how many slots will they hold and how do you craft them? I think we can imagine pretty safely from the minecart with chest that it'll hold the same number of, like items as a normal chest. And also we can imagine pretty safely that it's crafted by just using a boat with a chest. I hope they'll use this as an opportunity to do two things. One, to make the boat recipe the same on Java and Bedrock. Right now on Bedrock it uses a shovel and not on Java. I don't care which one they pick, just make it the same. I think the shovel kind of makes sense, but you know what? It also is annoying. But you know what else I hope they do? I hope they add a boat type that uses this brand new wood, the mangrove boat. They've said they will, kind of tacitly there. But yeah, that'll be a cool 7th boat for Minecraft, and it'll help fix some of the weird inconsistencies. And yeah, I love that idea. And finally here, my interesting question, because you can see Alex and Steve get in separate boat chests. So, therefore, can you only fit one person and one boat? Is there a trade-off there? Because with the minecart, you can't fit a person and something in there. And so obviously this is just concept art. This isn't the final thing. However, bear in mind that for this concept art of the brand new biome, the mangrove swamp, you can see there's actually 2 of them in the same boat there, or at least semi in the same boat. But again, it's concept art. Oh, by the way, did I say new biome? I feel like I did. Did you know there's a new biome coming in this update? The mangrove tree swamp. It looks pretty cool, right? It's got some weird looking, new block over there somewhere. And also it's got this kind of incredible growth. It's a great place to find mangrove trees in a larger quantity than you'd find in a swamp. And in general, it looks like a pretty interesting swamp variant. I wouldn't actually imagine it as being a whole new biome. I'd say, just like how the bamboo forest is a jungle variant, this is a variant of swamp that we can now find in Minecraft. And just like how the bamboo forest brings in a new block, the bamboo, the new block that is being brought into the mangrove forest, besides obviously the new tree type, although that spawns in the swamp too, is maybe interesting to you.
I noticed that was not dirt.
Good eye, Lydia. That was wet dirt, otherwise known as mud.
That's amazing. So you've actually added mud to do something really cool.
Yeah, so we're adding really cool renewability mechanics to mud. The first of which is if you take a dirt block and pour a water bottle on it, then you can get more mud. And then the other one is if you take your mud block and you stick it on top of the dripstone, it will sort of like drip the water out of the mud and eventually dry it out, which turns into clay.
Okay, so that's really cool on a couple of levels. First of all, there's a brand new block. It's called mud. When you add a bottle of water, I don't know if I like the fact that it's a bottle of water, but when you add a bottle of water to dirt, you get mud, which is a interesting enough new block by itself. And then if you place that mud on top of a dripstone block, you get clay. This means because dirt is effectively infinite. I mean, it's not actually, but effectively it is. This means you can take that dirt supply and you can turn it into mud if you want, and then you can turn that mud into clay, which means we can get renewable clay. I do feel like this is coming an update too late, maybe. Again, Caves and Cliffs Part 2 is going to come out with a large source of clay. I'm going to do all my crazy clay wanting things then, and so you might question, okay, so we're getting mud, but it doesn't really have much for use by itself, and that's where mud bricks come in, because wow, did you know you can actually do something with those mud blocks? You can turn them into mud bricks, which don't look like regular bricks or the stone brick pattern we see used for deep slate and, like blackstone and everything else, because it is a new type of brick to make a new type of house. And I actually do think that mud bricks look kind of cool. Are they cool enough to be, worth all of this effort by itself? Who knows for sure, but at the very least, we have a new natural generation block. Just like coarse dirt or podzol, you don't need to use it all often. It does make the world slightly more interesting just by existing, and so yeah, I have no faults with it, at least right now. However, that brings us nicely into the last thing, because if you look back at the swamp image, wow, do you recognize how there's actually a third feature we didn't vote on, or voted on but didn't win, at Minecon Live 2019? That's right, they're also coming to the game. Here are frogs. Look at these froggy boys. They are jumping around, they are croaking, that one's jumping backwards, that one's jumping. Do you see all the frogs jumping? They are frogs, they are. And yeah, every Minecraft update has a tradition of adding a pointless mob, and I'm glad we got this one out of the way really early, because frogs are pretty cute. I mean, look at this. He's on a lily pad. It's adorable, and that's not by chance, as it turns out.
And they do love to jump around, and especially on lily pads, and actually also on big drip leaves, because I mean, the big drip leaves kind of look like lily pads. But the funny thing with that is then when they jump on top of the big drip leaves, it's gonna tilt and then they fall down.
One of the
So yeah, frogs are coming to Minecraft. They are cute, they are derpy, as they even describe, but they're not really pretending that they're anything more than just a cute piece of ambiance for the swamp. However, they do also come in snowy variants. This is the snow frog right here. Wow, look at how when a tadpole grows into a frog in a snow biome, it will turn into a snow frog. And then this is the same when it happens in a tropical biome or in a desert biome. You'll get a tropical frog instead, which to me, this is how I imagine a snow frog looking, and the other way around. So whatever, there are different frog variants depending on which biome they grow to maturity, because did I mention tadpoles? Yes, tadpoles are also coming to Minecraft. I actually do like, yet again, this is the pointless mob of the update where it's like that they're not pretending it's going to do anything useful for you. It exists, and it makes cute noises, and it jumps. What more do you need from a mob? Do you want functionality? Do you think this is a video game where you're meant to have fun? No, you're all idiots. What you're meant to do is you're meant to look at the mobs and go, oh, this is like real life except square and less realistic. Now, I do think there is a space for having weird mobs, but I just feel like they could be combined with purpose, but I'm strange. I get that. Anyway, so that said, they also are adding another brand new mob to the game. The smallest mob they have ever added in Minecraft's history, as best I can tell. It's the Firefly. This is a 2-pixel wide mob. Honestly, it stretches the definition of what a mob even is. Are they actually mobs? Are they entities at all? Are they something else weird entirely? We don't know for sure, but they exist inside of the swamp biome, and when frogs are nearby, they will eat the fireflies. So yeah, that's fun. I guess that's the value in frogs. They cull the local firefly population to keep your frame rate up, assuming that they're causing any frame rate. You know, I don't understand how any of this works. Again, is a 2-pixel mob really even a mob, or is it not? This is the philosophical question I didn't get into this video to answer, but what I did come here to answer is the big questions about, okay, so Minecraft 1.19 is the wild update. What next? What is actually happening with this? This is pretty wild, huh? And yeah, honestly, this is a really exciting looking update, but I think they've been deliberately sparse of details. Don't get me wrong, they've announced a ton of features. There's either 6 or 12, depending on how many of those individual things you count as different. Or maybe you can count like 30 if you count all the mangrove wood types. But there's a lot of features being announced here, but they're pretty basic. Unlike last year where they promised the farm and then came back with, I think it was like a goat and snowiest snow that you can make only through cauldrons in that one update. Unlike last year where they kind of like let the community down, they figured you can't let the community down if you don't overhype the features and you don't share the biggest things, and so instead we got frogs announced and a brand new tree type. Again, sorts of things that they can do in a very long afternoon. I mean, obviously it took time to get the idea ready and to make sure it worked, but this is stuff they can do relatively easy. They're not going to miss a deadline on introducing a new tree to the game. I really shouldn't have said that out loud. I hope I haven't cursed us. I'm sorry everyone if I have and we get the wild update split into 2 now, but my point is that like they're simple enough features. No one is missing sleep over adding the frog to Minecraft, I hope. But the you know, the interesting thing here is they are adding fan favorites. I mean, people are very excited that for the first time we're getting a loser. You know, ideas that they say they will add at some point, those are actually now coming. So now we know the next time there's a mob vote, the second and third ideas aren't being thrown away forever. That has value to the community. And also, they're letting us know that, yeah, they intend to update biomes. They don't know which ones yet. They don't know how much time. We as a community don't even know how big of an update this is. Minecraft has 2 sizes of update. There's the size of update like Caves and Cliffs Part 2, where it's like a medium-sized one that they're going to do in half a year. And then there's the Never update and Village and Pillage, which they take a full year to do, and it's mega and entirely improves a bit of the game. The Wild update is such a interesting scope because it could mean anything. I mean, it literally could be the features we've seen right there, with a few more swamp things, a few more birch forest things, and maybe some tweaks to the Deep Dark, or it could mean they are going to add a brand new biome alongside the Deep Dark. I mean, if you're adding a new underground biome anyway, why not add another one? It could mean that the swamp is just the first of the biomes they're updating. If they're updating the birch forest, why not also update the mega spruce biome and so on and so forth? They can continuously add to this as they want, and so yeah, that is hopefully a good thing for us in the community. Under-promising and over-delivering is what you want from your Minecraft, when in the last year we've had maybe whatever the opposite of that is, and yeah, I'm really excited to see see how the wild update pans out. I hope it isn't one of these things that they put together a brief little demo for, and then they're going to ignore it for the next 4 months while Caves and Cliffs Part 2 comes out, and then obviously there's like a winter break, and then like who does anything in January anyway, and then like February, I mean this is times to work on. Oh god, it's 2 months till the update's coming out. Quick, someone slap a 4 frog type in there so we can add something new. I hope that we get some expansion on the wild update right now, because right now it sounds like a update on level with the Frostburn. I mean everyone loved polar bears and whatever else that update added, so yeah, maybe we get an update of that size, but I hope it's a bigger update. I am positive, I'm optimistic that the scope gives them room to do some really cool things, and I'm excited to say that I believe those things at least have a decent chance of panning out, so let's find out over the coming weeks and months. Obviously 1.18 is coming out before any of this does, and that's happening before the end of the year. They said 1 to 2 months away, which is, I mean, we already knew it was 2021. 2 months would be very close to the Christmas release date, so it looks like they're going early December, maybe? Who knows for sure? We'll see when 1.18 is out. But yeah, 1.18 is the next big release, and I look forward to checking that out sometime soon. But for now, thank you for watching this video. I do have my 9-year world tour going out just after this. I'm very excited to share with you all the fact that today my world is 9 years old. It's exciting stuff, and I'm just promoting it right here, because let's be honest, more of you are clicking a video about the wild update than about that, but I'd like you to click that video and, you know, give it a watch, because you know what, this is my YouTube channel, and it turns out I make a living when people watch my YouTube videos, so I'm telling you to watch more of mine because I'm selfish that way. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.